Good morning. Happy coffee talk. Oh man, my dogs in this weather. It is raining and crap outside, and my dogs are constantly covered in dirt. Constantly. They're covered in dirt and grime, and it doesn't matter what I do. We can wipe off their feet, we can vacuum the floors. It's like never ending. So it makes me want to get rid of my couch that's upholstered. We have one upholstered couch that I bought obviously in a moment of insanity before we had the puppies, before Georgia was born. And I must have thought to myself, you are I don't know what I thought to myself. I must have thought to myself that I would never have a mess in my house again. But I was clearly delusional from being pregnant because that couch is like destroyed. And so now I want to replace it with a leather couch because leather is just easy to clean and it can look beat up and not be crappy. Meanwhile, my upholstery couch that my dogs ate and is filthy, I'm never gonna win that battle. So coffee this morning is Black Rifle coffee in this really beautiful maroon and pink and white mug with black stripes. This was given to me as a gift from fitme member Brenda, who is fantastic, and she gave me this mug, and I love it because it's actually like a very different color than most of my mugs. So anyways, enough about coffee, enough about the weather and my crazy house and dogs. Yesterday we talked about on track and what it means to get on track, and how if you deviate, certain directions, really it's not necessarily about the speed. It's about, are you able to just get pointed back in the right direction and keep going, move forward towards your goal. If you missed yesterday's episode, go back and listen to it. But today I want to talk about boundaries, because one of the things that's funny is oftentimes when we think about being on track or getting off track, we actually imagine that there's these obstacles, these like problems that come in our way and that make us deviate from moving forward. And that can be true for sure. There absolutely are obstacles, but oftentimes, and this is just my experience as a coach, I watch us choose to deviate or get in our own way, and knock ourselves off track. And one of the ways that we do that is by having weak or ineffectual boundaries. Now, let's talk about scrolling. Let's be specific. For example, you're cruising, you're pointing in the right direction, you're eating quality, like fitme plate style meals with, you're making most of them at home, veggies, proteins, quality carb. You're not snacking on junk. You're drinking your water. You're moving every day. You're doing the things, right? That's the things. And you start to scroll because you don't have any boundaries around scrolling. So you're scrolling. One, how can that mess you up? Well, it can eat up all your time. And if you don't have time, then you can't do 30 minutes of movement. You can't make your chicken breast for lunch because you just wasted all that time scrolling. So there's one way that scrolling without boundaries can impact you and knock you off track, and you do it to yourself, right? Another way is that we consume a bunch of content that doesn't make us feel very good. So for example, consuming a lot of comparison style accounts, consuming a lot of influencers that kind of give you that feel that, you're never quite good enough, or that you're going to have to do X, Y, and Z to be a certain way. Consuming content from people that you know who are doing something that you're like, I really don't want to do like that strict keto plan again, but like, look at her. She's kind of doing stuff and maybe I should go do that stuff too. That looks like fun. Seems to be working for her. Maybe I should do that because my way is kind of slower. And so then we let that boundary get crossed, and now all of a sudden we feel less motivated, less inclined to move forward, less clear about our direction, because we essentially allowed for things to distract us, really. the definition of, if you think about blinders in their truest sense, like the kind that are on horses, they have barriers on each side of your peripheral vision so that you can see forward, but that out of the corners of your eyes or out of your like peripheral vision, you're not being distracted or scared or turning your head to go look and go a different direction. There's this thing that they say in sports, and it's true, and it's like where the head goes, the body follows. And so if you allow your head to go into some crap hole on the internet, you're going to follow. And I don't necessarily mean your physical body, like, oh, you let your head go somewhere and you're like, your body's going to follow you to the crap hole. I mean, like, you are changing direction. That's what I mean. So imagine, like, again, imagine a train, but at the top of the train isn't like the engine, it's a head. And where the head goes, the body follows the path, right? So that's what I'm saying. So if you allow your mind and your headspace to constantly be, bothered or distracted or impacted because your boundaries aren't there, then you're going to have a difficult time staying on track. And so one of the very first things we do in fitme is our 7-day reset. That's a part of our On Track program that actually starts not next week, but the week after. And we teach you a little bit about how to do those boundaries. We show you exactly which ones you need because you need them. You need them. Now, let's talk about boundaries a little bit more. Boundaries are not about what other people do. Again, using this example of scrolling, boundaries are not telling the universe they need to stop posting. They need to stop posting that kind of crap. It's bothering you. That's not boundaries. People can do what people do. Boundaries is what you allow. Boundaries is what you allow people to say or what you're willing to do. When I see this and it impacts me a certain way, I'm unwilling to allow that. So I will unfollow you. That is sticking to your boundaries. Telling someone that they stink for the kind of post that they're doing, that's not going to work. So it's not about what everybody else is doing. It's what you'll allow for you and what you will do. What will you do when something happens when something threatens your boundaries? What will you do? Will you unfollow? Will you take yourself out of the situation? Will you explain why it's not working for you and then exit? Will you say, I can't be a part of this if this is going to be the thing? Those are good boundaries. That's what that is. It's not about changing what other people will do. It's not about changing what happens along the way. So if you are like, I hear you, Christy, yesterday's podcast made a whole hell of a lot of sense. I want to be on track. I get it. I can speed up. I can slow down. Getting on track makes sense. But then we don't have boundaries. It will be tough. And it won't be tough because the world made it tough. It'll be tough because we made it tough because we didn't have the boundaries. And then we let our head go all the different places. And then our body followed. If you're not watching this on the YouTube or on the fitme community Facebook group, I was moving my head and doing some kind of like dance move. So when you're thinking about what tends to throw you off, I think I want you to give you some clear action steps for today. When you are on track and things are moving in the right direction, what throws you off? What is it? Because it's something that happens to your head, I promise. So what is it? And is there a boundary there that needs to be there? Is it scrolling? Do you need to put a boundary on scrolling? Is it a relationship where someone says something that they shouldn't say, but you've allowed that to impact you? Is it something stressful where you need a work-home boundary, perhaps? So, for example, you open your computer at night and work emails are super crappy and they stress you out. And next thing you know, you're stress eating and your awesome day feels like it's messed up now because you were stressed out and you just grabbed whatever. And so then now tomorrow it's like whatever. Do you see how that is less about the food and more about the boundary? And the fact that somehow, like, you or me allowed an email to enter into a time when you weren't prepared to deal with it. And so then that email pissed you off and started the stress eating. So boundaries are so much more important than you would think. And they're not magic overnight. So what I'm talking about here isn't like, go get your boundaries on and then boof, you do it. No. In fact, you have to kind of identify. First, step one, identify what's throwing you off. Is it a boundary issue? Step two, what should your boundaries be? Like, create those. And again, they need to be in your control, not other people's control. But what should your boundaries be so that you can protect that headspace? And then step three, enforce the boundaries. When they are challenged, and they will be, because you created them based off of the fact that you know you needed them. So you can damn well bet. It sounded like I was 90 when I said that. But you can damn well bet. You can bet that somebody's going to challenge them because you put them there because you knew you needed them. And so be prepared to stick to them and defend them. And when they get pushed or challenged, and maybe they don't go perfectly because maybe it's new and so you're having a hard time sticking to them, you return to them. You reestablish the boundary. And so that is what I think we're missing when we talk about this on track and what it means to stay on track is this conversation about boundaries. So you've got your homework for today. What throws you off? Make that list. Create a boundary and then stick to it. If you need help with this, shoot me a message and let me know. I'm happy to brainstorm this with you to figure it out. I'm happy to talk to you without judgment and help you figure out why you're not staying on track, maybe why you're getting in your own way. Zero judgment, just here to help. So if you want to talk to me, shoot me a message on Instagram at Christy May Campbell or send me a message on Facebook. Either one is a great place to be. So I would love to chat with you about it. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the Fit Me Coffee Talk podcast, do so on your favorite podcast platform. And if you liked this episode, then screen capture it and share it to your stories. I don't have any sponsors or anything for this podcast, so the only way that people find out about it is if you share it. So send it to somebody or put it in your stories and tag me. It means a lot to me that you listen, but it's super special to me if you share it with somebody because then I know that someone else is getting this information that probably needs it. And so I appreciate you being a part of that and building our community. So thank you for sharing this podcast. And if you are not in our Facebook group, come on over to the Fit Me Free community. We are doing Fit Me Plate Challenge in there right now. So learning about Fit Me Plates, hitting Fit Me Plates, it's like a simple strategy that you can use forever to eat healthier. And it's free. So come check us out in there. Go to Facebook, search Fit Me Free Community, and you will find us there. So I look forward to seeing you all in there. Message me if you need some help, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.